Back at it again, and yes, I know. And a lot of you guys actually appreciate it, though. I've dropped several YouTube shorts on the East Palestine situation, and obviously, I want to say a couple videos as well. And, one's here today. Because I think it's important that we discuss this, because this could happen to any of us. What if this happened to you in your city or your town? Because when stuff like this happens, and I've told you guys this before, I don't just look at it and say, yeah, that was terrible. I put myself in those people's shoes, and I think about things from that perspective. And, I sit back and I'm thinking like, man, obviously I would be angry. I would be extremely irate, right? Especially with the little kid, extremely angry. But not only that, but one thing that I would want is people to make sure that this story didn't just completely go silent. That people still talked about it. And what's been going on with this is absolutely disgusting. And I've said that plenty of times in my shorts and in my videos. What they have done to this community is absolutely terrible. What some people have said about this community is absolutely disgusting. Joy Behar, if you guys haven't seen that clip, yeah, I made a video on it. What she said was just absolutely disgusting. And it shows, how terrible the left actually is. So I'm a little glad she said it, because it just exposed the truth about the left once again. But let's hop right on into this video. Like, share, comment, hit that subscribe button if you're new, and let's dive in.
Welcome back. So it's been over 3 weeks since the toxic train crash in East Palestine, Ohio, left a small town in a state of hopelessness. Residents and those spending time in the area are still experiencing trouble breathing, mysterious rashes, and eerie smells that won't go away. Meanwhile, the Biden administration has barely lifted a finger in acknowledging the ongoing disaster happening in our country. So I went out to East Palestine and spoke to residents, business owners, and members of the community to find out how dire the situation really is. Watch.
Thank you all so much for joining me today. I just want to get a little bit about the pulse for the people that don't know the area and what's going on here. I guess I'll start with you, Andrea. What has been the symptoms that you've experienced? Has there been any burns, breathing, or anything?
I could smell it.
What do you smell?
It's like something burnt but somewhat sweet. It's just a very odd smell.
It burns your eyes. It's hard to breathe.
36 hours after the train derailment, I went into my shop and I was there for maybe 5 or 10 minutes. My eyes were watering. I was coughing.
Dave, what do you want to see from our leaders, your leaders?
I would like to see a lot of communication. At the beginning of this event, there was no communication. There was actually, when you reached out and tried to reach somebody, you got the phone menus and the answering machines, and you didn't get a response. And so, public trust is
sick.
It's gone. It's gone right now in this area. Yeah, and
who all agrees with that? If I can just get a show of hands that the trust in the leadership is at a low.
But when it comes to the state and federal, we're being ignored.
Cliff, I got to ask you, because the President of the United States has not been here. The Secretary of Transportation, yesterday was his first day being here. From the federal level, them not showing up or just now showing up when it becomes a national news story now, what is your response to that? How did it make you feel?
That they don't care about us. Sometimes they give us a little lip service.
And Don, you had some thoughts on that?
I do.
Yes.
And I think one of the things that's being overlooked here is the long-term perception of East Palestine. The stigma that goes along with it has already affected our businesses.
How?
We have a greenhouse. Valentine's Day should be one of our big days. We had one customer. A gentleman was here last night who had a flat tire and couldn't get someone to tow his car. No one wants to come here. With Washington not showing up here, just hurts that perception more.
Andrea.
Yeah. That's an unfortunate fact that, you know, I didn't even really think about. Wow. Wow. One person come in on Valentine's Day because nobody wanted to buy the flowers. And listen, I don't blame the folks. You know, that town, in my estimation, you know, I don't have all the facts about, you know, everything that was going on, and I still have 1,000,001 questions. But in my mind, basically got nuked. You know, just without the massive, you know, leveling of buildings and everything, they got the aftermath of that. In my humble opinion, like I said, I don't have all the facts. I don't know all of the, you know, toxicology stuff, you know, but I've just got so many questions as well. Like, why were they so quick to burn it? We're supposed to be environment conscious at this point. You know, go green. That doesn't sound like going green to me, unless we're talking about green. Making dollars and cents, making sure that those trains that derailed are off the track so the trains can still run through. That's what it sounded like to me, personally. And, you know, not only that, but, you know, what it sounded like to me, like I said, I don't have any inside information on anything like that. Or, you know, this is just my humble opinion. Just from the outside, looking in, you know, without, you know, too much information, it looked like, hey, let's just cover this up. Yeah, we messed up a little bit. But if we just get rid of it real quick, you know, whatever. All good. Nothing to see here. Nothing to see. Nothing to see. That's kind of what it seemed like to me. But what do y'all think? Let me know in the comment section, please.
How are the leaders doing here? What are the long-term implications?
Personally, I feel our first responders did a hell of a job.
Yeah.
You know what? They didn't know what they were walking into that night. And they were there all night and all the next day before anybody had a manifest that knew exactly what was burning. Mm-hmm. So shout out to all of them. And they came from far and wide. Yeah. I'm sorry.
It's okay. It's okay. Where does that emotion come from, Andrea?
I've lived here 34 years. I'd like to stay where I live. I raised my family here. I think the concern for businesses, whether it's agricultural or commodity-wise here, is important. This is what makes America. Small town makes America.
And it is depressing. You know, so on February 20th, I had 4 steers supposed to go to serve my customers. Mm-hmm. Well, I couldn't ship them because I don't know. I don't have the information to say that there wouldn't be a health liability if I did.
I think one of the things that's caused so much mistrust here is the way Norfolk Southern handled this at the beginning. It took 3 days for them to tell us what was on the train. You know, they knew instantly. I've asked this question.
Of course they knew instantly. They know what they put on those trains.
100 times since this happened. Somebody made these chemicals. Somebody was receiving them. Those people know how to handle them and what to do with them, but they're not in the picture at all.
How do you feel about?
Great point. Great point. And another thing that I did not think about. Why weren't the people that created the chemicals and the people that were receiving the chemicals involved in this entire situation? Because obviously they know what to do with it. They're dealing with the stuff all the time, clearly. One company or one organization, whatever, is receiving this shipment, and one of them shipped it off. Why aren't they involved in it? You know, I don't mean like any liability, you know, or anything like that, but just helping, giving ideas on how to clean this up. Like, why was it burned so quickly, and who said burn it? Because once again, that doesn't sound environmentally friendly to me. So while they're taking or trying to take away our lawnmowers and, you know, our stoves and, you know, our gas powered vehicles and, you know, I don't even know what's next at this point. Who knows? But while they're trying to take all that stuff away, they're just burning the crap out of who knows what and sending it into the atmosphere. And yeah, I just, wow.
Norfolk Southern right now.
Unfortunately, they cared nothing for the safety of this town or the surrounding area.
I want to show you guys a video because I've been hearing all this conversation about why you guys have been treated this way. This is Joy Behar.
He plays someone with deep ties to the chemical.
This is the disgusting comment from Joy Behar. For those of you that didn't watch the video that I made on this situation, here, just be prepared to get angry.
Industry in charge of the EPA's
Joy Behar.
He placed someone with deep ties to the chemical industry in charge of the EPA's Chemical Safety Office. That's who you voted for in that district. Donald Trump, who reduces all safety. He did. Yeah, but they need to look past the photo ops, these people, and say who's doing the job here.
I'm just curious what runs through your.
You know, it's kind of ironic that she also said they need to look past the photo ops. I'm pretty sure Chuck Schumer said the same thing too recently. As a matter of fact, check this out.
And on East Palestine, yesterday I called on Norfolk Southern CEO Alan Shaw to come before the Senate and answer questions under oath about the about the derailment in East Palestine. The accident has been deemed 100% preventable. So Mr. Shaw should be transparent, forthright, and he should not duck, but instead testify before America, before the Senate, as soon as possible. Norfolk Southern owes the American people some answers to some very important questions. Why, for example, did Norfolk Southern spend years pushing the federal government, and particularly the Trump administration, to repeal safety regulations intended to prevent accidents similar to the one in East Palestine?
And last time I checked, those regulations that he's talking about, which Trump did do something with that whole thing, but the last time I checked, I believe that what Trump did wouldn't have even affected this situation. So the fact that Democrats keep trying to run with this is just crazy. But I could be wrong about that. But I'm pretty sure that what Trump did wouldn't have affected this specific situation. But y'all let me know in the comment section if y'all have any more information on that.
Why is Norfolk Southern laid off thousands of workers while reporting over $3 billion in profits in 2022? And why did Norfolk Southern launch a $10 billion stock buyback program last year when they could have used that money to upgrade safety equipment, hire more workers, or pay their employees better wages? Disasters like the one in East Palestine are precisely what can happen when safety takes a back seat to maximizing profits. It's a pattern that has played out to devastating effect over the years. Corporate interests lobby the government to loosen safety rules, then they cut costs, cut workers, reward shareholders, and sooner or later, disaster strikes. And it is so typical, Mr. President, for people like Donald Trump to do the bidding of special interests, cause harm to the American people. That's what he did when he loosened railroad regulations, and then point the finger at someone else when something terrible happens. That's just what he did here. It just doesn't wash. The American people see right through it. So once again, I hope the CEO of Norfolk.
I hope the American people see right through it, and I hope they all see through what these Democrats are doing and have done before. You know, the whole show face. When the whole Roe v. Wade situation went down, everybody was out in the streets instead of putting some legislation together. Oh, we're gonna. But yet, you know, people like Joy Behar, who said an absolutely disgusting thing, and Chuck Schumer want to tell us, oh, well, they should look past the show. They should look past the show. Oh, okay. But the next time something happens, all of these Democrats are going to be doing what? Out in the streets, putting on a show. And we're all going to play those clips back. Oh, look past the show. Don't care about the show. What are you doing? We don't care about you out in the streets. You know, the Wicked Witch of the West, Maxine Waters. You make sure that they never feel comfortable out in the streets again. Okay. Why aren't you in your office putting some legislation together? We don't care about your words. This is just a show. What are you actually doing, Maxine? What are you doing, Nancy? What are you doing, Mrs. Warren? What are you doing? We don't care about your words. Because you told us don't care about what Trump is doing. Don't care about him actually showing his face. You told us not to care. So we're not going to care, and we're going to call you out when you just show your face. What are you doing? You being out in the streets and enraging folks does absolutely nothing. Where's the legislation? Where is it? Exactly.
Y'all's heads.
She should be ashamed of herself, honestly. First of all, to put it at a political level when politics had nothing to do with this. Absolutely
Joy should be fired.
Zero. She should come down here and to everyone's face in this area and say those words, and then let's talk.
I think that
she's not going to do that for sure, but she owes them an apology.
Regardless of who you vote for, what your political affiliation is, people are people and we're all Americans.
Yeah. Dave,
thank you.
What is your response to that video?
Her words were unkind and intellectually dishonest.
Yeah.
And they're not helpful. They add nothing to how we go forward. You know, I just hope that that the culture in this country changes to a point that we have compassion for one another.
Yeah.
I know we can't turn back time, but if they can do the absolute most that they can do to clean everything up and then monitor it, I think if they could guarantee everybody that you're not going to get sick in 5 to 10 years, I would be fine not taking a penny from Norfolk Southern. Wow. If they could guarantee that.
You know, the CEO gets to go home. This is our home. So I don't think we ever get back to where we are the way we were. Hopefully we can find a way to get better than we were, but it's not going to be the same ever.
For me, I raised 7 kids on my farm. This is a farm that I worked my whole life to be able to afford to buy. We've lived there about 18 years. It's about my kids. It's about them having home. Yeah, how do you get that back?
Hey, Sean Hannity here.
Facts. Man. I think who was it? The EPA or someone issued a statement yesterday, and I dropped a YouTube short on it, that Norfolk Southern was going to have to come and do some extensive cleaning up of the area in a timely manner. And, you know, it's supposed to be, you know, under, you know, they have to meet certain requirements and whatnot. And if they didn't, then the government was basically going to step in and do all of what they expect to be done. And they were going to bill Norfolk Southern for, you know, their cleanup, which is great. It's great. That's amazing. It really is. And I think I said that in the short, but why so late? Why so late? Because if y'all remember, that story didn't really make headlines until like a week and a half after it had happened. Yeah. Crazy, right? Crazy. And, you know, the Biden administration didn't even address it didn't even address it until like over 2 weeks after it happened, if I remember correct. I might have my dates, mixed up, so forgive me. It took them a long time to even address it. It wasn't until the story went absolutely viral and everybody and their mother was talking about it, then they felt like they had to talk about it because everybody was talking about it and they couldn't just say nothing. And even then, Pete didn't even go initially. He's supposed to be head of transportation. Biden hadn't said anything for a long time. And then finally, I think it was an interview, was the first time that he had mentioned it. And he had said that he had spoken to everybody that he needed to have spoken to. And then I think the interviewer asked him, well, have you talked to the mayor? He was like, I can't recall. But, I was like, wait, what? Okay. You said that you had spoken to everybody that you need to speak to, but you didn't. Very interesting, if I do say so myself. I believe it was the mayor. I could have some of this information just, a little incorrect. But, man, it's crazy how everything really, really picked up when Trump said, I'm going. Y'all notice that? That, like 2 days after Trump actually showed up, because I think Trump said he was going, and then 2 days later he actually showed up. And then 2 days after Trump showed up, that's when Pete showed up to the city. That's when Pete showed his face. After Trump. Because you know why? Because got to make Trump the demon. And whatever it is that we do in the government, we got to make Uncle Trump the demon. Which lets me know Uncle Trump is the one that we should be putting in office. Because, when the establishment, when everybody, all of these elitists and establishment folks, when they're pushing us in a certain direction, it lets me know I should go the opposite. And the opposite is Trump. They're trying to push everybody away from Trump. Why? Y'all answer that in the comment section. And, yeah. How do y'all feel about all of this in the comment section below? Like, share, comment. Hit that subscribe button before you go. Peace and love. I'm out.